Profits started to diminish. Things started to get very, very hard financially. When they went to Peter's house and they started searching it, they found a secret door at Peter's house. And behind this secret door, they found over $500,000 in cash behind this door. He would talk on the wiretap about how the FBI and their mounting pressure would lead people to drink. And while he was at the scene of the raid pretending to have a heart attack, a doctor came and proved that he was faking the heart attack. Stefano Magaddino passed away on July 19th, 1974 as a result of a heart attack. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Dana Trupiana and I cover infamous gangsters every week on my show, Mob Times. He worked together with Alberto Aguchi and Johnny Papalia to get rid of Rocco Perri in 1944. And that allowed him to gain a lot more control in the Canadian market. After Perri vanished, there was 3 lieutenants that were working under Perri: Tony Silvestro, Calogero Bordenaro, and Santo Shibetta, which were known as the 3 Dons. And after he got rid of Perri, he adopted that family into his mafia family, and they began reporting to him. Now, in November of 1968, things started to kind of go south for Magaddino. Profits started to diminish. Things started to get very, very hard financially for the family. And Magaddino was obviously not happy with this. He decided that he was going to go to his lieutenants and increase the percentage of their profits that they had to kick up to him. The FBI and the Niagara Falls police would link the Magaddino crime family leadership to the use of telephone lines for laying large sports bets. And they were all over the country. So it wasn't just in Buffalo that they were doing this. They were betting on sporting events all over the country. Magaddino, his son Peter, Benjamin Nicoletti, and a lot of other people were arrested in November raids. Now, during these raids, police went and they searched Magaddino's home, they searched his son's home, they searched everybody's house. When they went to Peter's house and they started searching it, they found a secret door at Peter's house. And behind this secret door, they found over $500,000 in cash behind this door. Because they were able to show that this family actually does have money, the IRS placed liens against Magaddino's property. Now, when they found this $500,000 in Peter's house, they may not have been able to do much about it, but what they were able to do is they were able to tell the media. And then newspapers started printing that $500,000 was found at Peter Magaddino's house. So when the family found out about this, everybody is pissed, and it just increased hostility in the family, and things just started to snowball. Over time, Magaddino became really paranoid about the FBI knowing everything that went on in his operation and within his family. And honestly, he has every right to have that fear. The FBI would install eavesdropping equipment or wiretaps in pretty much every place Magaddino went. There was electronic eavesdropping equipment in the Magaddino Memorial Chapel, a funeral home that served as the primary meeting spot for the Magaddino crime family, his house, like anywhere that he went, they were putting wiretaps. Within 3 years, these devices collected enough data to fill 70,000 transcribed pages. When prosecutors were testifying before the McClellan State Investigating Committee in 1963, Magaddino was identified as the irrefutable boss of the mafia in Western New York and Southern Ontario. In June of 1963, one of those bugs picked up Magaddino talking, and I'm just gonna read the exact quote of what he said here. He said, "They know everybody's name. They know who's boss. They know who's on the commission. They know Amico Nostro, the password, our friend. They said to me, 'What is your capo regime doing here? What did he come to tell you?' They knew that 11, 12, 13 were massaged or beaten up. To Carlo Gambino, they said, 'This is your underboss. This is your capo regime. This is your consigliere.'" So you could tell through these wiretaps that he's getting increasingly paranoid. He would talk on the wiretap about how the FBI and their mounting pressure would lead people to drink. Like, in particular, Carmine Lombardozzi, a New York City mob figure, turned into an alcoholic because of how much pressure the FBI placed on him and his organization. When they found out that he was drinking a lot, they got him on a parole violation for getting drunk in public. Like, they were just messing up everybody's lives. In another recorded conversation, he said this to Anthony DeStefano. "You see, the Cosa Nostra, the other day, they made me become frightened. They know our business better than us. They know the heads of the families. The Capo di Cena, the FBI does. Therefore, that's why the other day I say, be careful before you open your mouth. Because sometimes somebody could be a spy and you might think he is amico nostro, or a friend of ours. Because of how far away he is from New York City, he's not really dragged into the inter-family squabbles that go on between the 5 families in New York City. He's kind of insulated from all that drama, which is cool for him. But he was looked up to in the Mafia. Like, overall in the Mafia, he was a very respected figure. So people would occasionally call on him to be an arbiter between beefs that went on because he was well known to be able to mediate. Magaddino was a dominant presence in the Buffalo underworld for over 50 years. He was the longest serving boss in the entire American Mafia history. Like, he had a very, very long and successful career in the Mafia. He attended the 1946 Havana Conference. He was at the Apalachin Conference, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of other conferences that we didn't know about because nobody ever ratted about them, but he attended them. Like, any building block that happened in the Mafia, Magaddino was there, and he was a part of it. The government just kept coming after Magaddino. They came after him time and time and time again, and they arrested him time and time and time again. But they couldn't seem to get him in jail because every time he was arrested or he was called to the stand, he would miraculously have a heart attack or some issue related to his heart would pop up. He even pretended to have a heart attack during a raid on his house. And while he was at the scene of the raid pretending to have a heart attack, a doctor came and proved that he was faking the heart attack. Eventually, Magaddino was arrested for a bookmaking case, and his bedroom had to be used as the site of the arraignment because he couldn't leave his bed. As he got older, doctors determined that Magaddino was too weak to testify in court, so it actually ended up being a self-fulfilling prophecy, and he really did get too sick to testify. Charges against Magaddino were dropped in 1973 as a result of the FBI's refusal to identify an informant that they had used in the bookmaking investigation. So, in other words, this trial where they held the arraignment in Magaddino's bedroom, it all came from an informant that they refused to identify. Stefano Magaddino passed away on July 19th, 1974 as a result of a heart attack, which again, self-fulfilling prophecy. You spent 30 years saying that you couldn't go to court, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that because of this heart condition, and then you died of it. It's very sad, but that's what happened. He was laid to rest at Niagara Falls St. Joseph's Cemetery. The internal war continued after Magaddino died, but it ended in the early 1980s when Joseph Todaro Sr. became the boss of the family. Magaddino made it to 82 years old without ever serving a long prison sentence. And he had a typical mafia funeral. Floral wreaths were delivered the entire day. So many people came to this funeral. It was crazy. And after he died, leadership was said to be handed off to Russell Buffalino, but again, obviously, in the early 80s, Joseph Todaro Sr. would become the boss. So again, as I said in the beginning of this episode, this is the first series I've ever had going over 5 parts. This is a 6-part series, and each one of these parts is long as hell. So if you have listened to this entire series and you're here listening to the end of it, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are troopers, and I'm really happy that you're so interested in the information that you are willing to sit through 7 hours of information. Like, you guys rock. But this is officially the end of Stefano Magaddino. I really enjoyed going over this and being able to go through this again. I did this episode the first time. It was like a 45-minute episode, so how I turned it into 7 hours is beyond me, but you know, we find a way to make a way. But yeah, I really enjoyed making it, and I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. Thanks so much for watching. As I said, I am going to take a little hiatus before I start my next series because I have to write the script, I have to get all the information together. I am going to be doing the Yakuza next episode, so hopefully that'll be really cool. I hope you guys will enjoy. But it is going to be a few weeks before I start recording that. So it's probably going to be about 3 weeks before I get my next episode out. So don't forget to join in 3 weeks when I continue to delve into the lives and legacies of some of the world's most fascinating and infamous gangsters in history. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, follow, do all the things, and I will see you next time. Bye.